Hi there, it's Connie-Rae. Welcome to another craft tutorial at stampityourself.com. Today's tutorial is this cute shaker card. See all the shaky bits? And I've used a barrage of different kinds of craft skills here, and lots of different mediums. I've used some shrink plastic with my stamps. I've made a shaker card with a couple of layers of window sheet. Made it nice and thick. It's almost like a window box. It's nice and thick and it's pretty. It's so cute. So I'm going to show you how to make it, and I will be as quick as I can. You will need some products, obviously. The Merry Mice set that I am using at the moment, well, I have just gotten hold of, which is just adorable, which is this one. I'm using this particular set. Sorry about the glare, guys, but there seems to be a lot of let me just see if I can get rid of that glare. Maybe that'll help a bit better. Yeah. Okay. So this is the Merry Mice set that I have just got my hands on, brand new. Absolutely love it. It's currently on special. Is it currently on special? Yeah, I think it is. Anyway, doesn't matter if it's on special or not. If you've got this, you're going to want to keep it. It's beautiful. Okay, so that's the stamp set that we're using. We're using some shrink plastic. So that might be new to some people. May not be. It's up to you. I'm not sure, but I will tell you how I have done this, and I will be as quick as I can. Okay, so basically the first step that you've got to do is to stamp your images. Now, you need to use StazOn ink in black. I have used. You can use any StazOn color you want as long as it stays on. Has to be StazOn. Otherwise, it won't stay on your shrink plastic. Okay, so you use StazOn to stamp it on. So I stamped my images that I wanted to use with the StazOn. I then used my stitch dies to cut out the size of the image that I wanted. Some of them were round and some of them were square before I shrunk them. Okay, and there's the other good side of doing it with the stitch side is because it will keep you focused on which side the stamp is on. So if you've stamped on, this is the front, and you've used the StazOn ink, that's an alcohol ink, so it will stay on there, it will dry. When you go to colour, you need to turn them over and colour from the back, not the front. Because if you use the alcohol markers on the front, it will rub out your image. So you need to turn them over. And the stitched dies actually give you the edge, so you know which is the front and which is the back. So that's kind of handy. So basically, that's what you do. You stamp it on with the StazOn, get rid of that. You then, I cut it out before I coloured it. So I cut them out. I used a multitude of colours in terms of my Copic markers, my alcohol markers. I use lots of different varieties, just played around with colours. You can use whatever you want, obviously, on your mice. It's up to you. But don't forget to remember to turn them over and make sure that you're actually colouring from the other side. The other important tip with using the Copic markers is when they go on, they don't look as dark as you would think. But when they shrink down, they're actually quite dark. So don't go too heavy-handed, but, you know, trial and error. It's all fun and games. Actually, it's a lot of fun using shrink plastic. All right, so we've stamped our images with StazOn. We've cut them out with the shape that we desire. I have found that it's better to do it with the die cuts. I like doing it with the die cuts. It's just the way that things are these days. They're just easier with the die cuts than trying to fit it in and out of a punch. And also, as I said, that stitching there just gives you a feel for the front and the back of which is what. So that's a handy little tip. Okay, so after you've done that, I'll show you what I'll do is I'll get my silicone mat out and I'll show you how, after you've coloured it in, right? It's basically, it's very difficult to see, and I'm sorry, but I have to use a silicone mat, and I will, maybe I can, let me see. Oh, I might be able to do it there. Let me give it a shot. Basically, I'll show you how to shrink it. So after you've stamped it with your StazOn, you've coloured it in, you've got it to the level that you're ready, and you're ready to shrink it. This is what you do next. Now, I find that having an acrylic block is handy. A couple, even, if you need to. pointy tool. So I just move my camera just a fraction. And of course your heat gun, which I will turn on. And we're going to get some more light on the subject, so I hope that's okay. Yeah, that's probably better, isn't it? Yeah. All right. Sorry, probably was a bit darker before. Let me see if we can bring the card in. Yeah, that's a little bit better, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, so sorry. Lighting is always an issue for me because I'm a stamper. I'm not a technician. And the other thing is with this shrink plastic or any window sheet, it's always reflective, so it's really difficult. But we're managing. So we've done all the stamping. We've got it all in. We've got it all coloured. And these are our little images that we're going to shrink up to this size. Huh, they're so cute. And you can do this with any of them. Look, there's even a little bobble that I've done. Whoop. See, I've done a little Christmas bobble. It's so cute. So this is the size. So they go from that size to that size. So they do shrink up quite a bit. So as you can see, that's the big size, that's the little size. Big size, little size. Isn't that cool? But they make such great embellishments. So basically, this is the first part that you want to do, is do your stamping, get it all sorted out, and now we will shrink it, and I'll show you how to shrink it. Now, you've got to be careful because it will fly away. So you get your gun nice and hot. And as you can see, it's starting to shrivel up. So just hold your gun straight on it. It'll sort itself out. It'll shrink itself down. Whoop. If you need to, you can flip them over. Careful because it does get hot, to flatten him out. Just hold your gun on it till it's really flat. If you want to make sure it's in shape, just use your acrylic block just to flatten it down a bit. It's always handy just to be able to squash it through a block. And there you go. That's one little mouse. I'll do another one for you. Really easy to use. People can be a little bit intimidated by this, I'm sure, but it's not that hard. So we're just going to shrivel him up. He's going to fly away a bit, come back, because that's just the way that is with these things. Just hold him. If he's not turning over, just flip him up, but just be careful because it is hot. He's nice and flat. He's round. He's colourful. Ouch! See, it's hot. And it leaves a mark if you're not careful. But that's okay. This is just an old crappy desk. Ouch! All good. It works. That's the main thing. So that's it. That's how you use shrink plastic. Easy, isn't it? It's just as easy as stamping. It's just another medium and it's just as much fun. So once they're shrunk, that's it. You can't do anything else to them. You can't trim them, cut them, or change them. So do the shrinking at the last minute. Don't do them any earlier. So that's the shrinking. Now your shrink plastic, the one that I have used in this tutorial is shrink plastic from Ranger. I purchased it from Crafts Online, and you get 5 sheets, 8.5, and these are the clear ones. So, and if you're careful with your stamping and you stamp them really well, you will actually get quite a few images on half. Like I think I got about 4 or 5. And you can mask off your images too, because you only want the top of the head. You don't want the whole mouse in there. You don't need the whole mouse in there. So that's the actual shrink plastic that I've used. And I have used it before. And there are other brands on the market, but I kind of have no problem with the one that I just used. As you can see, it works just fine. Okay, so that's that done. Now, once you get this done, you get up to this stage. These need to cool down. And once they've cooled down, you can then, what I've done is used glossy accents. I put glossy accents, once these cool down, put glossy accents all over them to let them dry. Let them cool down. Put the glossy accents on them because it gives it a little bit of a boost and it looks glossier and it just looks a little bit more magnified. And it just gives it a nicer touch. And then put them aside to dry. So once they're aside to dry, you're ready to go. And look, you can do words as well. You can't see that because I shrunk it down, but you will be able to see that I used the Merry Mouse sentiment on the shrink plastic and I shrunk it down. So you can do sentiments as well. You can do anything on shrink plastic. Okay, so while you've done all your stamping, you've done all your shrinking, and you've put your glossy accents on, that's all cooling now. So while that's doing that, now you can get on with the construction of the card. So the card I have used, well, I am using, you need a piece of, this is craft foam with a glitter back. It's white. You can use any colour you like, but I found that the white's nicest. You need to have this at 3.5. Hang on, let me get that measurements right. Yes, that's right. Sorry, guys. Let me see. Is it 3.5? No, it's yep, it is. Beg your pardon. 3.5 by 4 7/8 of an inch. That's the size of that. That will also be the same size as your window sheets, not your shrink plastic, your window sheets, and that's a different product again. But what I use to save all the hassle is my Lawn Fawn dies. I use this one and this one. Okay, so basically I cut out my window, I run it through the machine a couple of times, and it cuts out the window to the exact size that I want, and I don't have to worry about anything. Done. So you cut out 2 sheets of your window sheet. You cut out 1 sheet with the same die. The foam will go straight through the machine, same die, and if you haven't got a die, the measurements are the same as before, 3.5 by 4 7/8. I just ran that through the machine, got those. And let me see, so that's the foam, the window sheet, and then the 2 pieces, yeah, you need 2 pieces of window sheet, you need 1 piece of foam, you need both of these, because now I'm going to show you how to do the frame. And the frame is really easy. I'll do it on the black piece so that you can see how it works. You get your, just say this is going to be your frame. You're going to have a black frame as opposed to the white frame. The white frame, yeah, the white frame's a bit hard to see, but the black will do it. Okay, so just pretend this is a white frame. So you're placing that down to create your first frame, which is this outside frame on the white here. We've got the window sheet behind it, and then we're popping this one down. You're measuring it out before you run it through your machine, and you're just putting on some tape just to hold it down, some masking tape, washi tape, or whatever it is that you use to hold down your dies if you need them at all, if you're worried about them moving. And then you cut through, and you ultimately end up with a frame like this. So that's the frame that you'll end up with. And then we're going to put the window stuff on there. So that's how I have done the frames, and I use those frames a lot because they're just reliable and they just work well. I don't have to worry about anything, just whip them through the machine. Okay, so the next thing that you need to do is to pop down on that little white frame your window sheet. So we've already cut the window sheet out, I've already prepped it up, and I've already stuck it down. But ultimately the first thing you do is put the window sheet on, and you can see here, because I haven't put the double-sided foam tape here, let me just bring that in a bit so you can see. Okay, so what I've done is I've used my tear-in tape, which I've actually just discovered I've got some stuck on my sleeve, some tear-in tape on the window sleeve, and stuck it down onto, you need to have strong adhesive to hold the window down. Okay, and the other reason that we've got 2 of these is because what we're going to do is create the shaker at the back, so that all of the bits at the back of the shaker shake around and they don't get stuck on your images. So that's why we've got 2 layers working happily together. Okay, so basically we've stuck our window sheet down onto our white card frame, and now that's using the tear-in tape, and then I've got thick, and you need thick foam tape to stick around the edges of the frames. So you want the frames to be able to hold all your bits inside together. Let me just zoom out a bit so that you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Oh, okay. So basically that's what we've done. Now it's very easy to measure. You just get your tape, measure it across. Let me just move in. Measure it. I just measure it across like that. Make sure it fits. And then I just cut the tape in half. Easy. And so what you want to do is go as close to the edge of the frame as you can. I find that if you go too far in, you'll see the tape and it doesn't look very cosmetic. It's just a nicer looking card when it's finished if the tape is closest to the outside as possible. So yeah, that's just basically my thoughts on that. It just looks a little bit nicer. But you do need a thick tape, just to be sure, to make sure that everything stays where it should be. But you don't want to go completely over either, because you don't want to see tape hanging on the other side. So just trim that off. And you don't want bits falling out everywhere either, which can happen. Okay, so this is the first part. Right. Now, I have found with the foam tape, it can kind of need a little bit of harsh adhering. So I am going to use, obviously, the double-sided foam tape should be right. But if you're not sure, put a couple of sticky dots, glue dots on it. It helps. Now, we shall put in some, this is your first layer of your card. So we're going to put in some gorgeous, gorgeous sequency colours in here, using some glossy. Well, these ones aren't Stampin' Up, but these other ones are. These are the frosted sequins, are they? Yes, they are. Fancy frost sequins. I do love these. These are on special too, and I grabbed a whole stack because I just love them so much. They're such beautiful colours. Okay, so we're just going to sprinkle it like you would sprinkling a cake. Put as many in as you want, put as less in as you want. It's entirely up to you. And I've got them everywhere, I have to say. They are everywhere. All over the floor. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to adhere the foam, the glitter foam, on the back of the first layer. Pretty straightforward so far. Don't forget you can pause this and go over it. It's not hard. It just takes a little bit of preparation. Keep all your little bits into the middle. Put your glossy side down. Sorry, your glitter side down, I should say. Sorry, I hope you can see what I'm doing. Yep, you can. Okay. So we're just going to quickly do that. Make sure I've got it as even as possible. There we go. And there's your first layer of your shaker. Now, as you can see, I've gone over a bit on my sizing, but that's fine. You can just trim it up. So it's foam, so it cuts beautifully. Nothing to worry about at all. Just trim it all up the way that you see fit. If you don't like the look of it, you can trim it on an angle and it trims it in a bit as well. But if you've got that thick foam tape on there, it's going to work beautifully, so you don't have to worry about it. So there you go. So as you can see, the shaker part itself is completely concealed and user-friendly. If you wanted to, you could just put, before you did that, if you didn't want to do the shrink plastic, which I strongly advise you to try because it's too much fun not to, you could just put, I was going to say you could put a little mouse on the front, but I don't think it shows up as well. But anyway, that's another story. Okay, so that's ready to go. Right, then the next part that we've done, we're going back now to our shrink plastic that we've already done, and we've already put our glossy accents on, and it's dried, and it's shiny, 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 and we are ready to apply it. Now, there's a few things that you can do with this one, the way that I've done it. What I do, I actually stuck them down with glue dots because when I shake them around, I want these to shake, but I don't want these to shake. So I stuck them down with glue dots, and that's exactly what I'm going to do now, just to show you, if I can find my glue dots as we speak. What have I done with them? Over here, we have glue dots. Yeah. Oh, they're out. Good, good. Okay, so using your glue dots, you just stick one little glue dot on the back of whichever one that you want to stick down, or you can just pop it anywhere you like, and pop it on top of the front because this is ultimately going to have another topper on it. So it's a really fun technique to use, and it's clean and it's easy, which is good. I'll use this little guy. just to put them randomly wherever you feel like you want to put them so that you can see them. They're so cute. I love shrink plastic. It's so much fun. Once you've had a bit of practice with it, you'll be right. It is good. And we'll put another little guy up the top here. Put 4 in. You can put as many as you like. Put one up here. There we go. All right. So there it look. Isn't that cute? So you got all these gorgeous little micey moos. Can you see that? Sorry guys. You know I have troubles focusing on things with this little thing. But anyway, that's what it looks like now. So all on the front there, ready to go. We're going to put our top layer on now. How good is that? So to put the top layer on, now there's 2 things that I have omitted out of this one. That is the silver bubbles. I've got these little silver bubbles in there. And this is them here. I got them from the $2 shop or $3 shop, whatever. They were $3 for a whole container. And I put some little, cut them in half and put the bubbles in there. And you can see them in there, so it's a little bit more shinier, along with my sequins. But I'll omit those now, so we don't take too long with this. Now, the last but not least thing is you need to stamp your sentiment. Now, Christmas mouse. Let me see. Merry Christmas. Is that the one? Yep. Merry Christmas. Yeah, we'll use that. Again, you need to use your black StazOn if you're going to stamp it onto that. And I probably should have done that before I stuck it down, but I didn't. So it's all right. Not the end of the earth. We'll live to tell. The other thing that I was thinking of trying was going to put it onto here, because I was wondering before if it was actually as predominant as I thought I would like it to be. So I might actually try that now. Oh, it's the wrong one. I might use my Memento and just get a nice crisp image on that and stick it onto there and see how it comes up. Is that, yeah, because that's the top, isn't it? Yeah. I do tend to over ink a bit. All right, so Merry Christmas. Make sure I've got my words up the right way. Okay. And just straight up and down, I think. So I'm not putting it on the window sheet this time. I'm just putting it on the bottom of the card. Whereas my other one, I have actually put it with StazOn inside there, which is fine. But you can't quite see it as much. But I guess it's just a matter of whichever your preference is. I was curious when I was doing it if this was going to be a better way of doing it. So who knows? We'll see. Let's have a look. Oh, upside down. Yeah, it's not too bad. You can see it. Hey. Okay, so now we're up to the next level, which is putting on the top layer, which I've already put the thick foam on again, because you wanted to, well, you don't have to, I suppose, but it's just nicer if you've got another thick foam top on there. It just looks a little bit more cosmetic. It does make the card look a little bit like a window box, but that's okay, because this is a kind of special card. You wouldn't be making, oh, you could make quite a few of these for you. You know, it depends how many people in your family, I suppose. I know I'm not going to make 50 of them. All right, so we're just going to line that up again with our card. Straight up and down. Just be careful with your layering there. You don't want any last minute hiccups. Okay, there we go. Look at that. So cute. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my scissors, and I think I just fell. Oh no, that's all right. You just got to make sure that when you line it up, you've got all your bits all lined up. And if it needs any trimming, do the trimming. Probably could have, yeah, it's probably a little bit on a slant, that one, but yeah, it just takes a bit of practice, I think, to line up these things. But it looks good. Okay, so it's ready to be stuck down. So we've practically finished it, guys. That's what it looks like. It's not hard to do. It is so much fun to do. Now, I'll just do one more thing, which is glue this on. Now, you can do this to a white. I don't know. What do you think? Should we do it to a white? White background or a black background? Not sure. I've done the background. Might do it on the white. So you just need a normal piece of cardstock, which is 11 by 4, scored at 5.5. And for this one, I'm not going to put any more foam on it because I don't want it sticking out like a really big sore thumb. But I will use I'll use double-sided tape because I want it to stay on. And with all the shaking that goes on, we just need to make sure that occurs. So that was a very quick lesson in shrink plastic. I hope you liked it. I hope you give it a try. It's really easy to do. Take your time with it. I mean, I obviously rushed the tutorials because, well, not rush the tutorials, but, you know, I want you to be able to not spend 2 hours watching someone make a card when you could do it a lot quicker. So I try and do my tutorials as quick as possible because nobody's got the time to sit and glare at the screen waiting for all the tidbits to come up. So it is a little bit longer than normal. I do apologize. Should I put it on the white? Yeah, we'll put it on the white just for the change. So just before you put it on, make sure it's all trimmed up the way that you want it. You haven't got any bits overlapping. It's all straight, as straight as possible. And of course now the thing's going to give me a hard time when it comes off. That's all right. I shall not be defeated. Yes, well, at least we know that the double-sided tape works on the back of the foam. So that's good. It's not going to come off in a hurry. So going back to this, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope that you come back. If you choose to support my channel, please subscribe. Please also consider purchasing through my online store, which is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, from anywhere in Australia. You can purchase anything you like at any time. And hopefully you get the Merry Mouse collection because it's a real keeper, I reckon. Okay, so we're just lining up that card front, sticking it down really well. And voila, you have a shaker card with shrink plastic, cute little mice, lots of bling and glitter and foam. It's pretty special. I'm thinking it is anyway. I'm liking it. So that is today's craft tutorial. Thank you for joining me. I hope to see you soon for another tutorial. Maybe with shrink plastic, I'm not sure. Thanks for joining me. Please subscribe to my channel and support me by purchasing through my online store. And I will see you next time for a new tutorial. Take care until then. Bye for now.